Well, I think there's a component of the executive team that's definitely a function of personalities involved. Just like the personality of a football team is a function of the skills of the players on the field. And no two teams are identical. Mm-hmm. But I think in that same vein, you can have the same basic fundamentals of interaction independent of how it plays out in the specifics. We have a high degree of trust among each other. And there's like I said, a high degree of candor, mm-hmm. which is part of where that trust relationship is built. We all take the attitude that the company's objectives are superior to our own needs and objectives. I don't think that's unique to us. I think maybe the style in which we do it might be unique, but you can keep the fundamentals and have different ways of implementing it, and I think you'd have the same result.
I don't think there's anything magic about this particular group of people, though. I mean, I don't see a team of 10 or 12, whatever the exact number is. It's not like a team of perfect people who have no flaws and no. I see a team that has a style of interaction started, I think, by Dan, our CEO, but I mean, other people have joined in and have carried this forward. I don't think it's like, oh, we're just the secret godlike people. I think it's something that another team could do too. Probably have.
Well, there are some unique things about our team. The people who started the company are all still here, as I mentioned, all on the executive team. So the two founders, me, Dan Warmanhoven, and Rob Salmon, who joined our executive team later, was our first salesman. So there's a goodness to that of the culture because we've all been through a lot together. As I mentioned before, the downside of that, though, is if you're not careful, you won't get a lot of talented people to join you because they'll have no headroom. Right. So our chairman has said since about 2000, every year he's asked us one question, which is, do you want more or less responsibility to each of us? And since about 2003, the answer has been less for everybody. We don't want to necessarily leave, but we'd like to give up some of the things. Your company keeps growing, so your internal job expands broader. Maybe you should be more on the outside, which was my case. So you'd like to give away some of that stuff. Well, that actually, I think, is a very good way of thinking of stewardship of a company. You're going to give up responsibility. Other people want that responsibility. It works out well. Mm-hmm. So there's 5 things. First one's attitude. You don't have a choice. You got to come with a good attitude. I was asked by a Marine Corps, and by the way, it's 100% in your control. So unacceptable, a bad attitude, you just got to go. We're not going to work around you. Marine Corps general asked me, I gave a talk for the Marines at Quantico, and he got all excited, and he said, how do you motivate an unmotivated person? I said, I fire him. Hoorah! Well, it's not my job to motivate an unmotivated person. It's my job to hire a motivated person and lead them. Second's candor. We got to make sure we keep candor in the company. Got to constantly ask. Make sure people feel like they can ask questions. The third is a saying I started, which is catch someone doing something right. I want to focus on what's right about this company and not always just, people say, let me tell you what's wrong. That's typically called bitching. Unless you come up with telling me how to fix it, that's all it is. It doesn't help me. But if people are going to give us their heart and souls, and I believe they do here, then you have to reach out to, I believe it's, why do people leave companies? They leave because they don't feel respected, nor do they feel they can make an impact. I want to make sure that never happens here by our omission of saying thank you. So the way it works here is that if someone sees somebody do something extraordinary to help a customer, to help NetApp, they send me an email and I call them. I do that every day, and I'm not the only one, but I do it more than everybody else, I think. Fourth one is making sure that we set our expectations high enough. We're a company that believes in greatness. We're a company, the people that come here believe we're going to do something great. If we lose that, we won't be the same company. So any company should be shooting extraordinarily high. And the last one is the principle of embracing change. You're either getting better or you're getting worse.
Well, I think the way any team works together is unique to their personalities. I think it just has to be that way. I don't think that there's a set of chess pieces that has a certain set of moves, a certain sets of capabilities that every company has to have, and they have to be deployed in the same way. So I think that there's a bunch of unique individuals. I think there's a set of characteristics, and I think there's a set of shared values that any team has to have in order to be successful. So I'd say from that perspective, I think there's a set of skill sets that we need to have. I think there's a level of trust and values and behavior that we need to demonstrate that allows this team to be successful. And I think that those things are transferable in the form of what's been successful here and what's made it work. So I think the specific skills, does every company need a Mendoza and every company need a Warmanhoven? I think obviously those guys are huge assets and they'd be assets to any company, but that's not the only way to succeed. I think what's more important is, as a team, how do they act? how did they lead, what did they accomplish, and I think that's the thing that we need to mirror and continue to enhance going forward, even if it's through a different set of